Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. The Shanti part. Om Shanno Mitra Sham Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvayarma Shanna Indro Bruhaspatihi Shanno Vishnu Rukkamaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ritam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanma Vavatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Avaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we finished last time the meditation on progeny. Before that we had done on universe, on lights, knowledge, and then last time we did on progeny. And now it's going to the individual person. So, I was just thinking about it. It took you from the highest universe se leke, fir different luminaries in the universe bola, fir knowledge, it came together, at a personal level, but there were two people involved in it. Then progeny also two people, Mata, Pita. And now individual. Within our own body, how can we meditate, in our own body? That's what they're talking about. So what they are saying over here, let's see. Verse 6 here. Atha adhyatmamam. Adhara hanuhu purva rupam. Uttara hanu uttara rupam. Vaka sandhihi jivha sandhanam. Iti adhyatmamam. Atha means now. Next. Adhyatmamam. So ये word adhyatma सुना होगा, हिंदी में बोलते हैं हम लोग, concerning the individual or the body. When it points to my personal stuff, then it's called adhyatma in Vedanta. And so talking about what? Adhara hanuhu, the lower jaw. It's talking about our speech now. So lower jaw is the purva rupam, the prior form. Uttara hanu, the upper jaw. Uttara hanu is upper jaw. Uttara rupam, posterior form. Vak means speech, is sandhi, is the intermediate form. Jivha, the tongue, is sandhanam, the connection, means or union. Iti, thus, adhyatmamam, concerning the individual, one shall meditate. So he's bringing ourselves, in our individual body itself. So lower jaw, prior form, upper jaw, posterior form. Speech is a conjunction or junction. Tongue is the connection, a means of joining them. So it's saying that how Swamiji is going to explain this is a very simple one. Now that we have done the other, they were a lot more difficult in some ways, that he said the students can connect to this very easily because talking is important part of learning. Every day when they were learning, they were talking, and or teacher is talking or they are talking. So meditation is on your own art of articulation, he was saying. That is the significance over here. And then he was saying that how this connection, that without the upper and lower jaw and without our vocal cords and the tongue, we cannot produce sound. So this conjunction is very important one, and it's coming from the higher only. So it's easy to do that upasana to connect to the higher. So Hindi mein, I love when they Hindi mein. So पांचवा स्वयं व्यक्ति का संयोजन है. इसमें निचला जबड़ा पहला रूप है, ऊपर वाला जबड़ा बाद का रूप है. वाणी उनके मिलने का स्थान है, उनका संगम है, और जीभ उन्हें जोड़ने वाली कड़ी है. यह हुआ व्यक्ति विषयक संयोजन. That's how we say in Hindi. Any question, comment on this? Okay. Any other volunteer? Anilji, you want to read?
What follows is concerning the individual or the body. The lower jaw is the prior form, the upper jaw is the posterior form, speech the conjunction, the tongue the means of union. Thus one should meditate upon oneself. Umaji, this line I did not understand. Thus one should meditate upon oneself.
So remember, these are the students who are like just begun this whole thing, right? And then we talked about it that the teacher is trying some creative ways to make their mind meditative, right? So he chose 5 different things. And so this is about within our body what happens, and then that's why I said thus should meditate upon oneself. कि मेरे अंदर भी ये सब कनेक्शन जो हो रहा है उसकी वजह से I'm able to speak. But like we were talking about, the whole idea is that connection is happening for the high, because coming from the higher self only. जबड़ा वगैरह बनाया किसने? Right?
So basically they're saying meditate upon this self which is enabling.
Yes, the whole idea is to coming to that only. Isme, in a subtle way it is mentioned. It is not directly mentioned. It's just saying meditate upon the self, because I am bringing my mind to the higher self through all these different things.
Right.
Yeah, that's the whole idea. Yeah, I'm learning the art of meditation.
Thus, who have followed so far the technique of superimposing a line of independent thinking upon the construction of a compound word must find it easy to understand this idea. To the student, this must be certainly a very easy thought to engage his mind upon, since he is all the time talking during his study hour or when he is in the field. The student is therefore made to maintain in his mind an undercurrent of meditative thoughts upon the significance of his own acts of articulation. Without the upper and the lower jaws and the vocal cords, no sound can be produced. Even when the sound is created without the tongue coming into vigilant play in controlling and regulating the sounds, the various letters constituting the language, such as guttural, palatal, dental, or labial, cannot be correctly or satisfactorily produced. With this much of understanding, it must be easy for any student to pursue this upasana.
So here the guttural was throat, palatal is relating to the palate, talu jisko bolte hai, dental, and labial is lips. And if we see our alphabets of Sanskrit and Hindi, they are divided by this, how scientific it is. When we say ka, kha, ga, gha, cha, whatever, it is all the same sound. We are using like throat, and then pa, pa, ba, ba, ma are all lips. It is amazing that how it is. So anyway, basically the whole idea is, I was thinking about how to explain this since you brought that up, Anilji. See, when Krishna Bhagwan did Bhagavad Gita, he was talking to Arjun, right? All the language that he used was, he said, take the, ek aayega word jisme he will say, take the sword of non-attachment and kill this sinful thing called desire. He's talking in the language of a soldier. Why did he say that? Because he's talking to Arjun. And then if you go back to chapter 3, he said things like, likes and dislikes are like roadside robbers. They pounce upon you. Because that's what he has to fight against, all these choru chakke, right? And then he says that they become your foe when they go deep inside you. Foe is enemy. He's talking about enemy. And then Swamiji was explaining the enemy, smart enemy वो होता है जो अंदर जाके छुप जाता है bunkers में. So these likes and dislikes penetrates through our, first they are in senses, then they penetrate our mind, then they sit in our intellect. And we start justifying. He's talking the language of that Arjun will understand. right? So in this Upanishad, they are talking of the language which a student will understand. That's why they are using all these Upasana methods. So that's how we have to look at it. Because this is Taittriya Upanishad is a conversation between the teacher and the students who are in the Gurukul, giving them this, besides the other knowledge of worldly subject, they are giving them the higher knowledge also at the same time.
So in a way, they are teaching the students how to focus their
Yes,
mind.
there you go. How to focus and connect to the higher. Absolutely. So these are simple, if somebody don't know how to start meditating, you say, okay, I'll give you 5 different things. You can pick which you like, whatever is comfortable with you, like that. Yeah, Meena ji, what were you saying?
I was just going to say, Arjun was knowledgeable. He had the knowledge. At that moment, he had just, over looking at the enemy, he overcome. But he had everything in him. These are the students, the young students who are still trying to get the knowledge, whereas Arjun had that. So the Lord Krishna's approach was different.
Yes, but the what I was trying to tell you is, it's like when you have suppose you people who are like my husband is there, Bharat is there, and there is Meera ji is there. If you have a particular class, you have to teach some student, you have to change your tune according to what they'll understand. If you're a good teacher, right? Yeah. So sometimes when my husband comes in the kitchen, he starts talking his scientific language because that's what he's comfortable with. He say, what does he say? Standard operating procedure. We housewives don't know what is standard. I had to learn that, hey, it is standard operating procedure because that's what he did in his lab. So this is how you make the chapati, standard operating procedure and things like that. So whenever we are studying a particular Shastra, we have to see the background and then you will know why they are saying what they are saying. But for us, even everything is beautiful because when we learned about the way he was explaining to Arjun, we can relate to it because we see war movies and we know what is going on in the war and things like that. But koi bolega, why is Krishna Bhagavan always talking about weapons? Remember when he said that weapons cannot cut it and all that when he gave Atmaka. So he used that analogy. Why did he say that? Because Arjun is a soldier. He understands that language. That's exact. You'll see a lot of flavor of that soldier thing in the whole Bhagavad Gita because of that. That doesn't mean that that doesn't apply to us. We have to take it in the right context. The same over here, like you said, these are beginning students, so he's just teaching them the art of meditation. It means simple, mundane things like speech. You can bring some divinity in that too. See how he's talking about sanyojan. And the sanyojan is the same as the same verse you can apply, that I am that thread that holds that necklace together. So because of these combinations only दुनिया चल रही है. और वो combination का essence is Bhagwan only. So that's how, now that we have learned that chapter 7 का that verse, we can apply it over here. Then it will make more sense. Any other comment or question on this? Okay, shall I close it over here then? And we can have some, I know last time I didn't give a chance to ask more question if you have so, but we can do it in the discussion time. So I'm going to close this over here. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhag Bhavet Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.